I have done two previous videos on the winter initiative that is run by the Simon San Remo homeless hostel on the Simonton Road in Bray for the benefit of Wicklow County Council. Now there is problems with the hostel which the County Council should be aware of, as well as relevant state government departments and local politicians. If so, why do they tolerate it? If not, why don't they resign? Now the Simon Homeless Hostel is not an exception. In fact, it's the norm up and down this island. Why do we tolerate people who are vulnerable to be treated in an appalling manner? For it is we, for when we say them, nothing will change, as we are them too. We must take ownership of the evil we propagate. It is no use appealing to the sentiments of the majority, they conform and wait direction from the leaders in the community or people of courage to approve of a movement of outrage. So these are the few you have to appeal to. True, you have those who will seek advantage, including political, to become interested. But this is not about words. This is about deeds, and especially actions, when the limelight has gone to follow through. It's not the users I need on site, it's the thoughtful and courageous. So here's the letter that I am going to send to the CEO of Wicklow County Council. CEO being business speak for a county manager. The words have changed, but the culture hasn't. So again, the letter. Dear CEO, I was of the belief that the winter initiative in San Remo run by the Simon on the Simonton Road was operational with 4 full beds since last October, but I was disabused of that recently by a resident. I now believe since 15th of January 2024 there is at least 2 beds being used in the initiative for the purpose intended, and not as 1 bed was being used for months by a renter who was moved in there by the landlord, this Simon, who converted the winter initiative room into a punishment block. Now the primary question I am asking you is, when did you start the funding of the winter initiative? The other questions are related to the primary. Were you aware of any beds being used in the winter initiative by people who were homeless, in the now and not in the past, as in the hostel residents, in Bray and in County Wicklow? If your relationship with the Simon was based on trust with a private organisation, surely this reflects a failure of inspection and diligence by the council when it comes to the vulnerable on the streets, with many of the vulnerable having mental problems and coming from dysfunctional backgrounds. Maybe this disease spreads to other areas of the council. This is not an opinion but a question too. If the lie perpetrated was that people on the streets of Bray and roads of Wicklow were canvassed and turned down the opportunity, then surely there is plenty of homeless people in the other counties who would avail of it. After all, many, if not all, counties have waiting lists for the homeless hostels. Again, this is a question. The questions being, what are the facts, and does Wicklow County Council believe in discriminating against Irish citizens from other counties who end up homeless in the Garden County by telling them to go back to their previous county where they collected welfare or paid rent or held a job? Are you happy to fund the winter initiative, the Simon, with nothing in return? That is 4 empty beds. If you're happy with this arrangement, why is the council not its usual person money itself with this private entity, the Simon? Were you aware that a renter was in the winter initiative room? Surely the landlord, the Simon, was abusing the trust of the council. If so, what is the penalty? If you, the council, knew, what is your explanation considering this was an unnecessary and wanton use of a bed that denied someone sleeping out in the elements is? If the Simon and Bray have questions to answer, will there be an investigation by the council? If there's financial improprieties, will the police be called in to investigate? But again, I emphasise, I would like the primary question answered, as all other questions rise or fall on it. Yours truly, JB. Okay, here's the letter being printed off. The letter being put in the envelope and the stamp being put on the envelope. And the letter being put into the letter box. The council will get it. Now I may get an acknowledgement letter, a bit remoter of a chance, and further down the line I will get a letter asking the question under whose authority I am operating under, and the letter has been passed on to the relevant department. After this, invariably the matter will just die and I will get no response. Maybe, with the initial screening at the council buildings of the letter I sent, they will come to the conclusion I am fully outside the system, not even registered as a number. You can be homeless and be a part of the system, and you can be in a house and outside of the system. Maybe they will consider that I therefore don't exist, as I have no power. I cease to be a human in their eyes. I wonder.